Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Cheryl if you are new here, and today I'm here to discuss all of the books that Booktube has made me read. And what I mean by this is, if you've been on Booktube before, you know, we have a tendency to talk about our favorite books, and we talk about them highly and we praise them all the time. Well, when I watch other people's videos and they are just like raving and raving about how wonderful this book is, I'm like, well, I want to know what the hype is about. And so I inevitably pick up the book either by buying it myself or getting it from my library. And yeah, just to see what all the fuss is about. And I have found some favorite books this way because y'all got some good taste. So that's what this video is about today. I'm just going to discuss some of my favorite books that I have read exclusively because of Booktube. I mean, there was a chance I might have one day picked up these books if I just was walking in a bookstore and I found them. However, it might have taken a lot longer. There's a chance I never would have found them. They're not books I heard about before getting on Booktube. Alright, so these will be a combination of books and series because sometimes the series as a whole I have enjoyed. And that's what this first one is, and that's going to be the Wayward Children series by Shauna McGuire. That is Down Among the Sticks and Bones and Every Heart a Doorway. I know she just came out with Beneath the Sugar Sky, and I think it was just announced that there's going to be like 5 more books or novellas in this series, and I am here for it. I have not read Beneath the Sugar Sky. I need to pick it up soon. It is on my top books to read in 2018 list. I am so hyped for it, but these first 2 books, the first one being Every Heart a Doorway and then Down Among the Sticks and Bones being a prequel sort of novel that follows 2 of side characters in the first book, those were just absolutely fantastic. It is amazing how much of like an intense and riveting story she can pack in such a small book, because they're all novellas, so they're all like 200 something pages, and she manages to tell a story that is like deeper than full-length novels I've read before. They're also incredibly diverse without it being very like, look at me, I'm trying to put diversity in my novel. Like, it's not hand-fisted, it's done in a way that's respectful, and it's just so good. They're so good. If you have not picked up the series yet, I would highly recommend it. For me, at least, the hype was real. Oh, and I guess I should say what the series is about if you don't know. Basically, it follows a school where these children who go into portal fantasies, so like Narnia, that kind of thing, well, they come back and they have a hard time adjusting to our world because why wouldn't you? You've gone to this magical place that is perfect for you specifically, and you are forced to come back to the real world. And so these children have a hard time coping. They go to the school for wayward children, and adventure leads off from there. But yes, like I said, I highly recommend it. So the next series I'm going to talk about is, like I said, a series. It's 2 books. So far, the 3rd one is just about to come out, I think. I could be wrong on that, but it's coming out this year, and I'm so hype for it. And those books are Illuminate and Gemina by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This is like a YA sci-fi series that follows 2 different sets of characters. They're companion novels that start to become sequels. What I mean by that is basically the events of the first book do affect the events of this book, and the characters from the first book do appear in the second book later on, but they're not the driving forces in this story the way they were in this one. But these are just so much fun to read. They're mixed media novels, meaning they're basically a dossier of transcripts, of chat logs, of things like that. And then Gemina features a lot of art because one of the main characters draws, and I don't know if I can, there we go. Like, it features art as well, drawn by, I think, Marie Lu, is that right? Am I right on that? Yeah, Marie Lu did the art for this, and I love it. I love the series so much, which is kind of funny because I didn't particularly care for Nevernight. I didn't hate it, but it wasn't my favorite, which is Jay Kristoff's like standalone novel, and I didn't like Amy Kaufman's, I know it was another like companion series, the Across the Universe, no, that's Beth Revis. The Starbound trilogy, I think, whatever one other sci-fi series she has. I tried to read the first one and got like halfway through before I DNF'd it. So it's funny that this series with 2 authors I don't really care for writing style has gripped me so much, but it's a story they tell, and I think the media that it's told in is really helpful. As you probably have noticed, the mixed media aspect of the mixed media novels have started becoming more and more popular. I wouldn't necessarily credit it to this series. However, I just have noticed that these all have started coming out about the same time. My cats will shut up. I'm not really going to say too much about this other than it is a very, very action-packed sci-fi adventure just because I feel like it is a series that it is best to go into not really knowing too much. And the third one, like I said, Obsidio is coming out soon and I'm so excited. I'm so excited. So the next book I have read because of Booktube and absolutely loved is one that is just a standalone. Well, it's part of a series, but this book explicitly, and I've talked about it many times, and that is A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. I have mentioned more than once how I get it's problematic, it's not going to be for everyone, and this is by far my favorite in the series, as it is for a lot of people, I feel. So yeah, we're just going to move on by this. If you haven't heard of this series, you must be new to Booktube. It is a favorite of a lot of people. Follows Fae and court systems, and I think it's good, or at least this book. It's got its problems, but I enjoy it nonetheless. So the next book is once again part of a series, but I'm only going to talk about this individual book, and that is because it's the only one I've read in the series so far, and that is Red Rising by Pierce Brown. This book has taken Booktube by storm, or this series as a whole has taken Booktube by storm. It was originally a trilogy, I believe, and then he just released, I don't know if it's a companion series or if it continues, but I know it's like a next, or at least I've heard that it's like a next generation, follows like the children of some of these characters, I think. I've only read Red Rising. It was a trip. I enjoyed a lot of aspects of it. There were a couple of things I took issue with, but as a whole, it is by far one of the best books I have read because of Booktube, and it is an adult kind of mix between fantasy and sci-fi, where humanity has kind of decimated the Earth, and so they're trying to expand into various planets in the solar system, and our main character is a Red, which is the lowest tier society. This society is a class-based society where your class is indicated with a color, reds being at the very bottom, golds being at the very top, and reds are designated to basically terraform Mars and get it ready for the population of Earth to kind of the higher classes to move there, and you know, they're doing good for the population, and things like are not what they seem. It's kind of a mix of like Hunger Game dystopian like elements. It's good, it's action-packed, it's intense at times, there's a lot of death, so keep that in mind. It's very violent, but other than that, it was really good. I look forward to picking up the next one because the first one left off on a huge cliffhanger, and I'm like, well, shit, now I need to know what happens next. Would recommend it. It is super hyped on Booktube for a reason. So the next one I'm going to talk about is another series, and ironically enough, I didn't enjoy the first one that much, but I'm including the series as a whole because each book got better and better, and that is going to be The Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer. I didn't actually really enjoy Cinder that much. It was really, really predictable. I gave it like a 3.5 star. However, Scarlet I fell in love with. Like, it is objectively it's not the best in the series, like writing style and story style, it's not the best, but it's my favorite. And then Cress took it up another notch, and Winter was fantastic. I have not read any of the novellas that go along with the series, but overall I really, really enjoyed this one, and I know I would not have picked it up had I not heard so many people raving about it on Booktube. If you don't know, which I would be surprised because once again this is a super popular series here, but if you don't know, this is a sci-fi futuristic series that each book follows like a retelling. Cinder is obviously a retelling of Cinderella, and Cinder is an android, and Scarlet is the Little Red Riding Hood, then you've got Cress who is Rapunzel, etc. And so these are retellings in this futuristic sci-fi setting, and I don't really want to say too much more about that because once again, first off, this book is really predictable anyway, but like I feel like the twist and turns later in the series you're going to want to go into kind of blind, but overall I fell in love with this character, or these characters. I found that it was equally plot driven and character driven for me. Like, I enjoyed both elements so much, and I would recommend it. I don't know if I'm going to pick up the novellas because I kind of like, I finished this series on a high note, and like I've heard really, really mixed things about the novellas, especially Fairest, so I kind of don't want to taint my vision of the series, if that makes sense. Let me know in the comments down below if you think I should pick up the novellas, how you felt about them. Like I said, I've just heard really mixed things. But yeah, those are all the books I'm talking about today. There are probably more I can mention, and I certainly hope in the future that I can do a second one of these videos because I'm constantly picking up new books because of you guys, either your recommendations or I just hear people just like I said, just raving and raving about their favorite book, and I'm like, well, I want in on this. So yeah, I'm sure, like I said, I'll be able to pick up a second, or do a second version of this. I'm currently reading The Name of the Wind, which is a book everyone talks highly about, so we'll see if that makes it on the next one. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and follow me on all of my social media, which is linked down below, and I will see all of you guys in my next video. Bye!